Hello, it's day 55, Screenwriter's Journey, day 5 or 6 of Poor Resolution, and another apology tour. Um, yeah, my last 2 days I kind of rambled, so let's just try to stick to the script today. So, as I said, I've gone through this script a number of times, obvi, and I'm back on page number 4, trying to pump up the volume on the opportunity, let's say, that Holly has to make it more of a choice. And it's so funny because at the same time, as I've spoken of many times, to some extent that something is got to happen. I mean, Marty McFly is going to go back to the future and et cetera, et cetera. I'm all out of other examples right now, but how far can you really lead someone down the path that you both know you're not going to take, or that the movie's not going to take? Um, so I'm reading here. I literally. Oh my gosh, yeah, this was bad. What was it? It was a joke, Holly. And then Holly makes a real life joke about spending all this time with Lexi. Looking back on this, I'm not going to say these are the dark days because it was only like 2 months ago, and I must have thought it was not too bad, although maybe I've already erased it. So, I mean, there is, you've heard of that vomit draft where you just go through and you write everything down just to get for the sake of it. And I've never believed in that. And I don't know why you would purposely write bad stuff. On the other hand, you shouldn't be afraid to write bad stuff if you think it's good at the time. If you sit around thinking, I'm not going to write this dialogue or this scene until I know it's 100% perfect, newsflash, you're never going to finish that scene. Screenplay, like a movie, like all art, commercial or otherwise, is never finished. It's abandoned, right? We've all heard that a million times, at least I have. And it's super true that I made those 3 movies. I mean, I could edit them, edit them, edit them. You could take off frames, add a sound effect, sweeten this, change that, color correction. And in a different way, you can fiddle with a screenplay, a spec screenplay forever. Um, Especially a spec screenplay because unfortunately there's no ticking time bomb to get it done. So you do things like, look at the action and description and just change the word run to race or scamper or struggle to fight or punch to whatever. Uh, or you do little things with the dialogue. What was my point? My point was that you should never be afraid to write, period. And if you go back and you go, wow, this is not very good, then guess what? You just learned something and now you've moved on with your life. And you can rewrite the scene and hopefully get it better. The more your characters talk, the more you're going to be able to say, that's not really his or her voice, or wow, that's just what he or she would say. And that makes you better. If you just sit there and stare at the screen and say, wow, this is too hard, I'm not going to do this, then guess what? You're not going to do it. So go do something else. Um, so I don't know what all that adds up to. I'm at a scene here, obviously, that I've been before. Holly and Lexi are talking. And again, I'm trying to get across as much as I can in as few words as I can. No on the nose dialogue, hopefully, revealing characters, subtext, blah, blah, blah. But that's not always easy. It's probably always possible. I don't think that every line could have subtext. That would be, I think, too much to ask. And I think it would probably wear out the audience going, what did they really mean when they said, let's go? So let's see here. Final thing, we've arranged a meeting up at the resort. Yeah, so this is another thing. Obviously, I've struggled with, or I wouldn't have changed it 100 times. Um, but it's kind of at the crux of the whole thing, right? The mom, Rachel, has got to show up at the resort and want to meet Lexi, which I think, you would naturally want to do under these circumstances, which are very unusual, which hopefully makes this interesting. I don't really recall this plot of a movie, so write in the comments if you had and ruined my day, or actually ruined my 57 days of writing. Not to say that every story has to be unique. They say there's only so many stories and, just different ways of telling them. And again, since you can't really read what I'm writing because of this resolution problem, these days, last several days, wait a minute, 55, have been more commentary on just writing than what I'm writing here because it's just so hard to read. It hurts my eyes. Whoops. It's funny. So if you saw those letters, sometimes I sit at the keyboard and my eyes sort of glaze over and my finger touches a key and I don't realize it. And next thing you know, you've got 100 of the same letter. That doesn't happen very often. So I've mentioned this before, but it is very bizarre that when you turn 18, you're suddenly given all these legal rights. Like 1 second, the clock strikes midnight and you're suddenly an adult. So that's kind of what I was exploring there. I don't know. It's not a real big theme or anything, so I don't know how long that's going to last. But day 55 is over. I'm not going to drag this on, even though it was a short day. Thanks for sticking with me through these blurry days, we'll call them. But fear not, there's only a few more of them, I hope. I can't remember. But let's check it out together on a screenwriter's journey.